Hey there, full-time MFers. So this is going to be a little extra thing that I'm surprising even Jarvis with. He doesn't know it's happening. But Sybil and I have spent the entire month of October watching scary movies. And so I figured for Halloween, we could upload a scary movie tier list. Not scary movie, but Halloween movie tier list of all 31 movies that we watched this month. A lot of these are new to me, so I'm going to give you little rundowns of them, and then tell you where I place them from S tier to D tier, F tier. I don't know what's the metric for F tier, S tier to F tier. Anyways, so let's get to it. Gremlins. I've not watched Gremlins before this. More of a Christmas movie than a spooky Halloween movie, but hey. Some of us get it wrong sometimes, and that's totally fine. So Gremlins is a movie about my cat, Orb, wherever she may be. God rest her soul. She's over there. And yeah, I think we also started off on this one, so I think that this was a solid. I'm gonna put it right in the middle, and that would be C tier. Good C tier movie. Beetlejuice, the original one. We did review this one on the channel. You can probably go watch it, know why I land on it. It's also a C tier. I would go further into that. You just watch the video. They're all up right now. Addams Family. My first time watching the Addams Family and the Addams Family Values, which are the ones from the 90s. Yeah. But I'm doing Addams Family first, and then Addams Family Values after this one. So Addams Family was the one with the spoilers, the big twist at the end with Uncle Fester having been there the whole time. And I liked the movie more than I thought I would. I'm going to put that one up in A tier. A tier movie. Addams Family Values is where Uncle Fester finds a wife, and then gets tricked but loves her anyway, and then Wednesday goes to camp and finds out she likes boys. B tier, but really high B tier. Coraline. This is my first time watching Coraline as well. Controversial take. High C, low B tier. Sybil's getting upset with me just by going through this. Monster House. Who hasn't seen Monster House? Awesome movie. A Spielberg movie. We learned. Which is kind of crazy. I didn't know that. Makes sense. It feels a little off. The vibes are a little off every once in a while. It definitely is the animation style. It's like not claymation. And you could definitely tell it doesn't. That's the only thing about this movie that doesn't really work for me. That and the whole, the house is his wife. How she fell into the foundation, which is kind of crazy. But I guess anything can happen. B tier. Practical Magic, another one that neither of us had watched before this, and I honestly had never heard about it. But Sybil said that she had heard about it a lot because she likes witch movies. And I'm gonna have to say, this is a strong A tier contender. Strong A. It was very fun. It was a romance movie, a horror movie, a magic movie, girlhood, and it just switched between those. Like the vibe was never consistent. It was always all over the place. Yeah, A tier movie. The Babysitter. I think this is like the only gory movie that we put in this list, that you put in this list. You put the list together. Yeah, other than one that we'll get further down, which I don't know if I would really call that one gory, but it's got, yeah, anyways. So The Babysitter, a gory, funky horror movie, a grindhouse film, if you will. Very simple plot. Very... not really a lot of twists. All the characters were kind of tropey, and that's what they're meant to be. So like, It's not a surprise. Unfortunately, not good enough for me to care about it too much. C tier. Actually, you know what? D tier. D tier movie. Then we get to Fear Street 1955. The Fear Street trilogy, which Jarvis and I are going to talk about in more detail. But I'll give you some stuff here. Fear Street 1955. Did not care about any of the characters. Did not care about whether or not anybody lived or died. In fact, there was a point at which, again, spoilers, watch the movie first. There's a point at which one character is actively being hunted down by ghouls. Is that an appropriate term for them? It's a bunch of ghouls. And they're like, she's going to die. We just have to leave her. And then somebody else goes, no, we can't leave her. Either we all get out or none of us do, or something like that. And then they all do have a brave little we're banding together moment. And then two of them die. It's not even the one that's getting hunted. And they die gruesomely. So what? Where's the fucking justice? But the underlying tones that do not get resolved in this movie, let's be very clear, do not get resolved in this movie. Put it at a really low C for me. Yeah, for the first one, for Fear Street 1955. Fear Street 1978, completely different. I vibe with most of the characters in this movie. I vibe with all of the weird things happening in the movie. To be honest, probably the best of the three. This is probably going to shock you, me saying it. And this is an absolute must watch. Go watch the trilogy just for this movie alone. S tier. Fear Street 1666. Surprisingly, also pretty good. The characters that you grew to like show up again, but as different characters. I think they were just trying to do something funky with the directing because they didn't really need to be, but it made sense. Fear Street 1666, A tier. With that being said, the trilogy as a whole, R.L. Stine, you were cooking. You were cooking up, and three Michelin stars. Very good. Next up, Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. This is the live action one. No. This was okay. So we watched 4 or 5 Scooby-Doo movies. 4 Scooby-Doo movies. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but it's not on the list. So we'll start with that one actually. Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase. Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase. One of my favorite childhood movies. The least Scooby-Doo movie. Does not hold up at all. The vibes are really still kind of fun. And all of my favorite parts of the movie happen in the last 10 minutes. With that being said, Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase unfortunately gets a D from me. I don't think any of these movies actually hit F, but we'll see. We'll see if I change my mind. Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. No, this is Full-Time Movie Fans After Dark, okay? That's fine. I get darker and darker as we get into this. This is an unofficial. Anyways, Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. I'll be real with you. Between the 5 Scooby-Doo movies that we watched, I don't remember most of it. They got zombies. They're on an island, and it was the cat people who were trying to eat them. So D tier, but closest to F. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. The one with the Hex Girls. She's so mad right now. She loves the Scooby-Doo movies. The Scooby-Doo movies are our Halloween for her. So, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, a B tier. I am putting the Witch's Ghost over Zombie Island. Live action Scooby-Doo, the first one, which is probably the one that I remember the most. No, that's not true. I definitely remember the second one most. But the first one's pretty good. Fond memories of childhood back when they had the little like the CD-ROM games where you put it in, you got to do like a fun 3D point and click adventure. For that, B tier. Then we got Scooby-Doo. The Scooby-Doo, what was that one? Monsters Unleashed, which is the one that I remember the most. Having consumed more media now than I did at that time, that movie is just a ripoff of like every superhero, everyone's coming together movie. Flashpoint. They have the tropey. Look, all of our stuff's in a museum, and now they're all coming to get us. It's very Zack Snyder's not Batman v Superman, Justice League, where they're like, Superman's dead, but he's coming back to life. So that's pretty cool. Now we get to B tier. And then we get to where my wife may or may not divorce me, the Twilight Saga. The first Twilight movie is such a memeable miss, I think. Oh my god, she's threatening me. And the world is so small and not built out, and it just all ramps up so quickly. It starts out with, wow, there's this boy, and I kind of like him, to, oh my god, he's a vampire, to, I'm actively being hunted for murder. Very, very quickly. But it's all a very fun time. Twilight, the first one, gets a C. New Moon, which is the one that's mostly with Jacob. Yeah, because Edward leaves because he's a punk bitch. Yeah, sure. He wants to protect her, but he's really just kind of being rude. I don't have to go much further into that one. D tier. Twilight Eclipse, which is the one where, the Newborn Army. For anyone who hasn't watched it, the Newborn Army sounds way different than what it is. It's Bella is being hunted down by this vengeful vampire lady whose boyfriend was killed by Edward because he was hunting Bella. And so she created a bunch of newborn vampires, not baby vampires, but vampires that are freshly turned vampires, to hunt her down. And she loses. And because she loses, she gets a C. Breaking Dawn Part 1. Should I just lump these into one, or do you think separating them? Okay. So Breaking Dawn Part 1 has a really crazy, Bella is pregnant with a baby and decides she's going to keep it. And yeah, her body, her choice, very important. And I believe that for almost that reason alone, it gets a B tier. Breaking Dawn Part 2, this is where it's going to get crazy. Breaking Dawn Part 2 has some of the wildest things going on in it. Hands down. Vampires have special superpowers, and they all have different things, and Rami Malek is the Avatar. It's crazy shit. And for that, it gets an A tier. Are you upset about this? You're upset about a lot of it. I have to be honest with the people. Halloween Town. Actually, let's skip through so that I can get to Halloween Town basically last. Corpse Bride. It's my first time watching it. It's a movie about necrophilia and how it should be okay to do that. For that, it gets a C tier for me. Midsummer, which you spelled wrong in the list, but it's fine. This was also my first time watching Midsummer. And the first time Sybil has watched any Ari Aster movie. And it is undelightfully uncomfortable, as Ari Aster movies are. with a lot of people doing weird things, and then the main characters going, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" Just for everyone else to go, "What? No, this is normal. You like this? This is normal." So yeah, it was uncomfortable, and everybody knew what was happening the entire time, and we all could tell where it was going, and all hated every moment of trying to get there. So for the sake of cinema and what I think it has done in the process of making good movies, it should get an A. But because of the vibes and how much it made me uncomfortable, I'll put it in F. I think that's a good drastic. It should get an A, but it's going into F. You feel with that? I don't think this is a good. I don't think it's a good movie to watch if you want to have a good time. If you want like a Halloween vibe of something, Midsommar is not it. And I did recommend this one for the list, and I don't regret it because I do think it was worth watching. But for the purpose of Halloween movies and spooky vibes and having a good time, absolute terrible. The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. I also don't remember much of this one. Oh yeah, the one with Victoria Justice, and they both turn into werewolves by the end of it, and the animation for it's just so goofy. For that, and I can't remember any of the storyline. I'm gonna give it a D tier, and I think that's fair. Low D, almost an F. We did Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase. Spirited Away. Everybody knows Spirited Away. Even if you haven't watched it, you know what it is. You probably almost know what it's about. For spooky vibes, not very. But I feel like giving this anything lower than an S tier is a disservice to the movie. And now that I've said that, I'm going to let everybody know that we did not finish our rewatch of this movie. We were just really tired. It was late, and we were like, we've seen this a couple of times. We're good. Get Out. Another banger on the list. We've talked about Get Out on the channel. You can probably go watch that one. Jarvis and I both agree it's phenomenal. And watching it back, I caught a bunch of things that I didn't the first time, which I'm going to point out here because we didn't in the episode. But the first time that our main character, I forget his name at the moment, meets, Chris. Whenever Chris meets Rose's dad, they talk about how they hit a deer on the way in, and Chris's dad goes, "Oh, well, I'm glad. I hate the deer. They're ruining the neighborhood. They're vermin. Yeah, they're pests. They need to be exterminated," which is crazy. It's a crazy thing because it's like that's normal. Go watch the episode. It's great. Are you turning it so I can see how dark it's getting? It's fine. Oh, okay. S tier movie. That's 3 now in S tier, and I am gonna stand by it. Ernest Scared Stupid. My first time watching Ernest Scared Stupid. Oh, I'm getting stopped. So, Ernest Scared Stupid, I'm being reminded that there are a couple of scenes that he does do a little bit of blackface. And so, for this, we're going to overlook that just for a moment. All right? Just for a moment. It's a different time, and it still doesn't make it okay. And he's not even alive anymore, so what are you going to do? Hold it against him? And out of all the movies, I'm being told that's the least blackfacey one. Ernest Scared Stupid it's about kids trying to build a treehouse, and then awakening a goblin creature that's going to steal a bunch of children to turn his dead goblin army into an alive goblin army. And then Ernest stops them with milk? Mother's love. Yeah, it's milk. So it's just milk. And a kiss, yes. Surprisingly, not the only movie to solve problems with milk. And I think that I'm so sorry. It's going in F tier. It's just so not. Yeah, I think your childhood, like nostalgia goggles hit you pretty hard on that one. But my God, was that just a slog to get through? I'm sorry to say. Then we got Halloween Town, the original, which we learned was made on a $4 million budget when it was supposed to be like a $30 million budget. And I'm taking that into account here because I love this movie. Sybil loves this movie. You love this movie. I'm choosing for you. You love this movie. That being said, the plot is quite literally, hey Marnie, you're a wizard. You're a wizard, Marnie. But you can't go to Halloween Town. And then she goes, fuck you, Mom, I'm going anyway. And then she does. And they go, wow, cool witch stuff's happening. Oh no, Grandma's frozen. And her and Mom's frozen now too. And now we have to go steal body parts off of other creatures to make a special little wand glow to make the evil go away. And then they find out that the evil can only go away with the power of family. So, Sybil said S tier. I'll give it a B. I think it's a good contender for a B tier. Halloween Town 2: Calabar's Revenge. We watched this one last night, and as much as it does grow like the plot and the lore of Halloween Town as a whole, I don't think it's a better movie than Halloween Town. I think Halloween Town is still a better movie. That and there's a lot of weird like sexism that happens in the movie quite a bit. So that also is a little off-putting. Still like product of its time, and I get it. It's kind of weird to be the villain and then immediately fuck over the main character and then go, maybe I just have an attraction to Cromwell women like my dad. It's a little odd, a little off. That and kidnapping an entire city so that you'll go to prom with someone is a little weird. So for that, it gets a C tier. Then we got Halloween Town High. The most forgettable of the Halloween Town movies. That's someone who's talking about Halloween Town Returns being the most forgettable movie. That's not even on this list. But yeah, because it's not worth it. They recast the main character. It's not cool. So Halloween Town High, it does do a lot for the plot and like the lore of Halloween Town. Monsters going into the human world and being themselves. So the great message, everything going with that. And they get rid of racists, which is always a good thing, I guess. You know what? Fuck it. A tier. A tier movie. I feel like they had the most budget for that one too, so it's kind of fair. Which brings us to our last Halloween movie, and which is honestly the movie that I think about when I think about Halloween. It should be the first thing that comes to everyone's mind. And it's not Halloween. It's not A Nightmare on Elm Street. It is the one and only Hocus Pocus. Is there anything that needs to be said about Hocus Pocus? Everyone loves Hocus Pocus. Everyone's seen Hocus Pocus. Everyone should rewatch it yearly because it's, what you're supposed to do. One of the best Halloween songs comes from that, even if it is a cover. I'm not sure. Who knows? S tier. S tier. S tier movie. That's all of them. If you got Halloween movies that you like to watch, let me know in the comments down below. If your name is Jarvis and you're just now seeing that this exists, hey there, buddy. Hit the publish button for me, would you? I think it's important to do so. So happy Halloween. Don't put razors in your apples. Don't hit the subscribe button. Feelings Frog, do you have anything to say? All right.